Morning, pirates. The texture. Should have done like a before and after shot of how yucky and it looked. Well, it still looks yucky, it's just a different kind of yucky now. So that'll be cool, I guess. I was doing some research last night on the seafoam in the oil, and it's supposed to remove the carbon buildup even way up top, so that's probably why it was so clean, and that's probably why there's so much gunk down in the bottom. Check the coolant, there's lots of coolant, it's not going down at all. So I'm pretty confident that was the seafoam. I'm optimistic that fresh oil is going to make a big difference, hopefully. The exhaust is like wide open, there's no exhaust on it, and it's much more quiet. I let the oil warm up and let the temperature come up, and it seems to be a lot more quiet, so that's good. Seems better. Man, that was a big lightning bolt. Just missed it. It was huge. And it was pretty close too. Well, the valve covers look a lot better, and she seems to be running better. Oil-based annual rust proofing. Black. Pleasant smell, no dripping, penetrates cracks. Friggin' rights. Oh, and caution, pirates. So, there's pirates too. So, I got this here. This here is a shoots gun, or an undercoating gun. This is the exact same as the U-pole Raptor gun, except for this one doesn't say U-pole on it, it says Arslan. And I got a can that screws on to the gun, just like that. So I was in my cabinet looking for the shoots gun and the can, and I found something when I was in the cabinet, something I forgot about. I had picked up a handful of shift knobs cheap, and so I had some that were billet carbon, like same as the steering wheel, billet aluminum and carbon. And I thought I had used them all, or I think I sold one to a buddy or whatever. But I was in the cabinet and I found one just sitting there. So it almost matches the steering wheel, billet carbon. And I had no clue that this was in there. I forgot all about it. Thought I still have some shifters, but I don't have any of these left. This will be like the last one. I might just take the sleeves out of one of the other ones. And look how high up this one sits. Like, see the pedestal length underneath of it? And I had this one on here just for kicks, and it goes way down like a short throw shifter. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen when I put the sleeve on it or not. So that'll be cool, I guess. This is one of my favorite t-shirts, and I'm about to do one of the messiest jobs probably. Oh my goodness. This stuff will seal it up pretty good underneath. And it also, I got the black stuff and I sprayed it on the 95 and it looked nice. Like, you know, when you spray the Raptor liner, I did video on doing the Raptor liner with the same type of gun. And it kind of like, when it's fresh, it just looks good. Nice and black and shiny. So, and this is the black type. They have like clear type or amber type, and they have a rubber type. I like the oil type. It's amazing this old car is still here, but let's put some of this stuff on and that'll protect it even better, even longer. Look at that booty. Oh my goodness. I like it. So I'm going to start at the back underneath, just pretty much strictly underneath. This stuff is super messy, and I'm going to try to be careful up front where I'm still working, and anywhere where I don't want a big mess I'll try to be careful. But for the most part, yeah, everything is fair game for the most part. I might avoid the new lines, like there's new stainless and braided lines underneath and stuff, so I might avoid them. I don't know, we'll see. It's going to be very similar to the Raptor liner. It's the same type of gun. I'm going to be shooting at the same pressure. I'm going to be shooting something pretty much the same viscosity. This is the back bumper. That's the impact bar, the bumper bar itself. And that's the trunk pan. It's all shiny because I oiled it recently with Rust Check. So Rust Check has a nice clear shiny finish, so I don't mind using it on around the fenders and wheel openings. So for like an old patina car. So you can see some of the old undercoating here, and there's a plug. This is a paint plug from the factory. It doesn't really have any paint on it anymore, so I definitely want to coat that. And I'm not gonna restore it. Most of it is pretty good like this, but I'm just gonna give her some more coating here and there. That support bar for the panhard bar, that looks like it could use some. That's the spare tire area. It's already got like decades of undercoating on it. It's coated. Oh my goodness. Lots of undercoating. But I guess that's what saved the old girl, I don't know. So I anticipated there'd be a couple flakes. This is just ahead of the rear axle. That's a good place to check on these cars too, if you're ever looking at one, is ahead of the rear axle. So there's a couple flakes there. I'll just take a wire brush and just brush them off, and I'll just apply the undercoating directly. The oil-based stuff, it soaks in or penetrates or whatever, like it says on the label. So I'll just apply it to just remove it. If there's any flakes, I'll just flake them off. And I know there's no holes because I've had the carpets out, the underlay out. I've been over the floor from the inside, and I know there's no holes, so I just have to take off any flakes underneath and give it a new coating. I think I mentioned previously that that this car was repainted once, and I see some evidence right there. See those red flakes coming off? That's the second paint job. I'm guessing this car might have been in a fender bender when it was young. It's hard to tell, but I've seen evidence around the edges. Ooh, look at the new paint job on the new brake drums. That's fancy. So I take my can here and my undercoating. Ooh. Open it up. Oh, it has another seal. Double seal. Just be careful of any pirates, because there's a pirate warning. Oh, that reminds me. Better put on my purple gloves in case there's any pirates. Warning, pirates. So now I can break the seal. Now that I've got my pirate gloves on, purple pirates. Oh my goodness. Man. This stuff has been sitting in the cabinet for at least a year. I think I got it last fall. Never used it. Description: high quality oil based rust proofing. Can be applied to both new and used cars. Should be applied annually. Will not drip. Low fumes. Pleasant odors. Resists abrasion. Never dries. Penetrates seams and wells. Okay then. Directions for use. Clean the surface and remove rust. Check. Allow 4 hours before exposing to wet road conditions. That means don't drive it in the rain within 6 hours. This product is not recommended for application below 16 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Caution: for metal applications only. Do not apply to fiberglass, plastic, or rubber. SMC, yeah, whatever SMC is. For metal verification, use a magnet. Okay then. So maybe I should avoid the, yeah, I mentioned earlier avoiding the lines. So I'll do that. Okay. Now we'll fill up. Oh, this looks pretty thick. Thicker than I remember. I think it's got globs in it. That's why I shook it up. Oh, yuck. Yeah, there's definitely a glob, like right. Oh, I forgot to peel the tab all the way off. That's why. I'm just making a mess right now. For frig's sake. Oh my goodness. Okay. When I opened it, I didn't peel the tab all the way off, and then the ring that holds the tab broke off in my hand. Oh no! I'm making a big mess. I haven't spilled any on the car yet. Not like that would be a bad thing. Got the can already made a mess, screwed onto the gun, and put the air line on here. Give her a little test blast away from anything important, hopefully. Oh, yeah, okay, that's good. Now I'm going to go underneath and make a bigger mess. Okay, first refill. This will be the second can, or the first refill. I'm probably laying it on heavier and more meticulous than your average undercoating guy would, but so far so good. The texture. Should have done like a before and after shot of how yucky and it looked. Well, it still looks yucky, it's just a different kind of yucky now. So there's inside of the front wheel wells. Yeah. This stuff here on the outside, I do it with rust check because it's like a clear stuff and I don't really care. Kind of like patina, rat rod, Mad Max, Zero Fox kind of thing. This is the rear wheel well, and yeah, I haven't even finished this yet. There's still dry spots here, but I went through 3 liters, only got 1 liter left, and I'll have to finish it later. I think this is the same spot we were looking at previously. I'm not done with the whole car yet, but yeah, it looks a little bit better and it's all protected. The stuff, the oil-based stuff, stays wet. So I think I figured out a couple issues that were happening with the 5.3 FireBird swap. And when I had the valve covers off, I mentioned the oil and the lifters were collapsed and all the valves were closed. And I drained the oil, and the oil looked pretty nasty, and it seemed to be a lot of heavies in the bottom, like stuff settled at the bottom. And then I remembered that I had put some seafoam in the oil. Quiet, noisy lifters. So when added to the crankcase oil, quiet, noisy lifters, clean, dirty parts due to deposit buildup. That's another reason why there was no deposits. And I mentioned when I took the valve cover off, I was like, wow, this is really clean in here. Well, that's because the seafoam, I put some in the oil like a long time ago and forgot about it. And it doesn't take much. It only takes like 1 ounce per liter. Yeah, I probably had 4 ounces in it at least. And I forgot about it, and I ran it a few times, and so what happened was all the carbon washed out from the seafoam. This stuff breaks it down and liquefies it, and it was all sitting in the bottom. And when I drained the oil, it came out pretty nasty the first time I drained it. And I'm pretty confident that all the carbon buildup that was anywhere in the engine might have not only settled in the bottom, but after I ran it a few times, it probably sucked some up into the oil pump, and it probably pumped some into the lifters.